ever get that feeling? Like there's a conversation just hanging there, unspoken.
Yeah, definitely.
Needing to talk about a promotion maybe,
Yeah.
or a coworker who, has that one habit.
Right.
Or even setting boundaries with, like, a client.
Ugh, yeah. I've been there.
It's like that knot in your stomach, right?
I know it's coming.
It's that conversational elephant in the room.
It's funny how we all try to avoid those.
That's what we're diving into today.
Mm.
Uncomfortable conversations.
Oh, good topic.
We're looking at James Groder's book, The EQ Advantage.
I've heard of that one.
He says avoiding these talks isn't peaceful. It's, he calls it a recipe for quiet disaster.
Quiet disaster. Interesting way to put it.
Think about it. Resentment builds, trust breaks down, things stall out.
Yeah, if you let things fester.
Groder has this alternative, though.
Okay, I'm listening.
He says, see these conversations as chances.
Chances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chances for, like, deeper understanding,
Okay, yeah, I get that.
stronger teamwork, better relationships even.
That's a good reframing.
The key, emotional intelligence, or EQ.
Ah, EQ. Everyone's talking about that.
But it's not just being nice, right?
No, it's way more than that.
Groder says it's about getting how we feel
Right, being self-aware.
and then using that to manage our own emotions.
But also noticing other people's emotions.
Yeah, and being smart about how we influence them.
Exactly. It's like emotional strategy almost.
So, in this deep dive, we're going on a journey.
I like journeys.
First, why these talks are essential.
Yeah, because we tend to avoid them.
Then, how to see conflict differently.
Because conflict gets a bad rap.
And then, the core of EQ, like what it really is.
The nitty-gritty.
Finally, how to use all this practically.
That's the part I need help with.
How to prep for, handle, and wrap up tough talks.
It sounds comprehensive.
Let's start. What makes a talk uncomfortable anyway?
Well, Groder says a few things.
Okay, lay on me.
Different opinions, for one. Like strong disagreements.
Yeah, when people just see things totally differently.
Yeah. Then, high stakes. When the outcome matters a lot.
Like a promotion or a big project decision.
Exactly. And of course, strong emotions involved.
Oh yeah, either our own or we expect them from the other person.
You can just feel the tension.
His examples are so relatable too.
Like what?
Telling someone they're not performing well.
Ugh. Yeah, that's never fun.
Or disagreeing with your boss, a big boss, on something important.
Oh yeah, been there.
Even personally, like a client who keeps pushing boundaries.
Boundaries are important.
Or needing to apologize for messing up, but it's awkward.
Apologies are tough.
It's understandable why we avoid this stuff.
Totally human. Right.
Groder calls it the allure and illusion of avoidance.
Allure and illusion, I like that.
You think it'll be easier, but it's not really.
Right, it's a trap.
He lists why we do it, like fear of bad consequences.
Like damaging a relationship.
Yeah, or just the emotional pain of it all.
It can be really draining.
Some people lack the skills, they don't know how to have these talks.
Yeah, it's not something they teach you in school.
And then there's bad memories, like past arguments gone wrong.
They can make you hesitant to try again.
Or, and this one gets me, we hope it'll just resolve itself.
Ah, yes, the magical thinking approach.
Like if we ignore it long enough, it'll poof, gone.
Doesn't usually work that way, though.
Groder says this avoidance has a cost, though. A big one.
Okay, so what's the price of silence?
He calls it the steep price of silence, actually.
Steep price, that sounds serious.
He compares it to a pressure cooker.
Oh, I see where he's going with this.
Resentment builds and builds, like pressure, and then...
Boom. Explosion.
And it's usually over something small, not even the original issue.
So the avoidance makes things worse, basically.
Yeah, because things don't just go away, they get bigger.
Like a snowball rolling downhill.
And trust erodes. People sense things are unsaid.
It creates this, like, unspoken tension.
Decisions get worse because we're missing info or differing opinions.
Right, you need those different viewpoints.
And ironically, the relationships we're trying to protect
By avoiding the conversation.
get harmed by the lack of honesty.
It's counterintuitive, but it makes sense.
Plus, we miss growth opportunities.
How so?
Those tough talks, especially feedback, that's where we learn and evolve.
True. Feedback is essential for growth.
And at work, this culture of avoidance, it affects the whole team.
Morale goes down, people get stressed.
So yeah, avoiding feels good now, but the long term.
Not so much.
But Groder has this cool reframing.
Okay, tell me.
He says, see these talks not as threats,
Which is how we usually see them.
but as chances for positive change.
Okay, I like that. Positive change.
It's a chance to really understand each other,
To see where the other person is coming from.
to work together through problems, make the relationship stronger,
To come out stronger on the other side.
and to find better, more creative solutions.
So it's not just about avoiding damage, it's about actually improving things.
Yeah. And honestly, more trust, better outcomes for everyone.
I can get behind that.
Okay, so we should have these conversations.
In theory, yes.
The conflict still sounds scary, doesn't it?
Yeah, who likes conflict?
Makes you think of arguments, shouting matches.
Definitely not a pleasant image.
But Grouter defines conflict differently.
How so?
He says it's just disagreement.
Disagreement, that's it.
From different needs, values, whatever.
Okay, that's less scary than I thought.
He makes this point, difference isn't bad.
In fact, we need differences.
Right, if everyone always agreed, no progress.
True. It'd be a pretty boring world.
So how does he break down conflict further?
He's got 3 parts to it.
Okay, hit me.
First, interdependence, meaning we rely on each other somehow.
Like a team at work, everyone's work affects each other.
Right. Second, perceived opposition.
Meaning,
We think our goals, or what we need, clash.
like, I want A, you want B, and they can't both happen.
Exactly. And third, interaction.
Which is just how the conflict plays out.
Or it doesn't play out sometimes.
Through communication or lack of it.
So in our team example, they depend on each other.
They might disagree on the best way to do the project.
And their talks or emails or avoidance, that's the interaction.
He also has different types of conflict, which is helpful.
Okay, what types?
Task conflict first. About the work itself, the content, the goals.
That can actually be good, right?
He says, if handled well, yes.
It forces you to think harder, get to a stronger solution.
Then there's relationship conflict.
That's the interpersonal stuff, not the work itself.
He says that's almost always bad.
Yeah, those personality clashes can really derail things.
And lastly, process conflict.
Meaning?
About how work gets done, the methods used.
Okay, so like disagreeing on timelines or who does what.
Exactly. Can be good, leading to better ways of working.
Or just frustrating if no one budges.
But the biggest distinction he makes,
Yeah, this one's key.
destructive versus constructive conflict.
Totally changes your mindset.
Destructive is what we all dread.
The arguments, the hurt feelings.
It gets personal, not about the issue anymore.
It becomes a battle, win-lose, someone has to be right.
Emotions run high, communication breaks down.
No one's listening.
Yeah.
Everyone's just trying to score points.
And the result, damaged relationships, problems still there.
Downward spiral.
Constructive, though.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Okay, what's that look like?
Focus stays on the issue, not personalities.
Keeping it objective.
Collaborative, like, we're in this together feeling.
Instead of me against you.
Emotions are managed, communication is effective.
People feel heard, even if they disagree.
And the outcome. More understanding, better solutions.
Sounds ideal, but hard to do.
Groter says the shift is this.
I'm ready.
Don't aim to eliminate conflict entirely.
Because that's probably impossible.
Instead, aim to manage it constructively.
Okay, that's more realistic.
And that's where EQ comes in, big time.
EQ to the rescue.
So EQ, it's more than just book smarts, right?
Yeah, it's about how we handle emotions and people.
Groter defines it as this capacity we have.
Capacity for what?
To see, understand, manage, and use emotions.
Okay, so it's not just feeling them, it's what we do with them.
Ours and other people's emotions.
That's the tricky part, other people.
IQ is like how smart you are in the traditional sense.
The tests, the logic puzzles.
EQ focuses on emotional and social skills.
Like reading people, understanding situations.
And the best part,
Tell me.
unlike IQ, EQ can be learned and improved.
Oh, that's good news. I need all the help I can get.
So what are the parts of EQ?
Groter uses Goleman's model.
I've heard that name.
5 key components.
Okay, break it down for me.
First 2 are personal competence.
Meaning
How well we manage ourselves.
our own inner world.
Right. So component 1, self-awareness.
The foundation, it seems.
It is knowing your own emotions, moods, what drives you.
Also your values, what sets you off, all that.
It's being able to say, right now, I'm feeling.
And knowing why.
And how that feeling is affecting you.
Like noticing you get tense before a big presentation.
Right. Or that you're frustrated because someone disrespects your time.
Or you always get defensive when your work's criticized.
It's like having a meter for your emotional state.
Okay, so I know myself. Then what?
Then comes self-regulation, also called self-management.
So acting on that self-awareness.
Exactly. It's controlling those knee-jerk reactions.
Instead of just exploding, right?
It's choosing to manage your inner state.
Thoughtfully, not just reacting blindly.
So you get that angry email, but you take a breath before replying.
Or you're super frustrated, but you choose your words carefully.
Or you admit you messed up instead of blaming someone else.
That's tough, admitting fault.
It is. It's not about suppressing emotions.
It's more like expressing them well.
Appropriately, constructively,
Third part of personal competence is motivation.
but a specific kind.
Groder says it's got to be internal.
Intrinsic motivation, right?
Yeah, it's the drive that comes from inside you.
Not for rewards or praise, but because you genuinely care.
It's the passion, the optimism, the bounce back ability.
That resilience when things get tough.
In tough conversations, this means wanting a good solution for everyone.
A win-win, ideally.
Staying engaged even when it's hard, believing it's possible.
That's hard when things are going poorly.
Okay, so that's managing ourselves.
Now for the other half. Social competence.
How we handle relationships.
First up, empathy. Super important.
This one's all about understanding other people's emotions.
Really tuning in to how they feel, what they see.
Taking interest in their worries, even if we disagree.
It's like trying on their emotional glasses for a bit.
So you notice they're upset, even if they don't say it.
Right, reading their body language, their tone of voice.
You listen not just to the words, but the feeling beneath them.
And you think about how your actions might impact them emotionally.
It's not about agreeing, it's about getting it.
And that makes all the difference in these conversations.
Last piece of the puzzle is social skills.
The practical stuff.
This is how good you are at managing relationships.
Building rapport, finding common ground.
Handling disagreements smoothly, communicating clearly.
Persuasion, collaboration, all that.
It's using your awareness of both your emotions.
And the other person's. To steer things well.
So, can you state your point without being offensive?
Can you really listen to their point, even if it's different?
Can you negotiate and resolve things, but keep the relationship strong?
That's the ideal.
So, all five together, it shows why EQ matters so much for these talks.
It's the whole package.
It's how we manage ourselves, how we understand others.
By how we actually behave in those tough moments.
Groder's right. Without EQ, we just react.
Like a knee-jerk response.
But with EQ, it's like we have a compass and a rudder.
I love that analogy.
Self-awareness and empathy are the compass.
Guiding us, showing us where we are, where the other person is.
Self-regulation is the rudder.
Steering us, helping us choose the right direction.
And internal motivation, that's the engine.
Keeping us moving towards a good outcome.
Okay, so we get EQ, it's awesome.
I'm convinced.
But how does it actually change conflict?
Yeah, how do we go from feeling the tension
to actually fixing the problem?
That's the million-dollar question.
Each EQ part plays a role.
Okay, like what?
Self-awareness, that's our early warning system.
For when we're about to lose it.
It tells us our triggers, our knee-jerk reactions.
So we can catch ourselves before we make it worse.
Then, self-regulation, that's the pause button.
Stop, think, then act.
We create space between feeling and reacting.
To avoid escalating things.
Keeps the atmosphere calmer, more productive.
So self-awareness is knowing your buttons, and self-regulation is
not letting them get pushed. Exactly.
I like that.
And internal motivation, that keeps us focused on the good outcome.
Not just venting, but wanting to solve it.
It gives us the stamina for those tough talks.
Because they can be draining.
Empathy, that's huge for reducing defensiveness.
When you feel understood, you calm down.
It builds trust, helps us see each other's needs.
Humanizes the whole thing.
And finally, social skills. Those are the practical tools.
How to actually communicate well.
Active listening, speaking clearly, persuasion, collaboration.
The toolkit for a successful conversation.
It's amazing how they all work together.
Yeah, they're interconnected.
Like you can't manage an emotion if you don't even know you're feeling it.
True. Self-awareness is the first step.
And empathy affects how you talk to people.
If you get their emotional state, you communicate better.
It's this synergy that makes EQ so powerful for conflict.
A whole that's greater than the sum of its parts.
Now, before even starting one of these talks,
we need to prep.
Groder is big on preparation.
Don't just wing it.
It's about setting ourselves up for success.
Using EQ to make things go smoother.
Like assembling furniture, you got to read the instructions first.
Otherwise, it's just chaos.
So what are the steps?
First, know your intent, your desired outcome.
What do I want to achieve here?
Yeah, what's the good thing you're aiming for?
And what do I want to avoid?
So you're not just reacting emotionally.
This uses self-awareness and internal motivation.
You're aligning your goals with your values.
So it's not about winning or being right.
It's about a positive outcome for everyone.
You gotta have that clear from the start.
Step 2 is about anticipating your own reactions.
Oh, knowing what'll set me off.
Yeah, what are you likely to feel in this talk?
And what will the other person probably do or say that'll trigger me?
This is pure self-awareness.
So then I can plan how to handle those feelings.
Like having a game plan for when things get heated.
It's my emotional first aid kit, ready to go.
I love that.
What about facts versus assumptions?
Super important to separate those.
Not jumping to conclusions, basically.
Grotter says use self-regulation to avoid that.
Think before you react.
And use empathy to consider other explanations.
So maybe there's a good reason they did what they did.
Have specific examples to support your points.
But challenge your own assumptions, too.
Be honest. Could there be another reason for their actions?
This is where putting ourselves in their shoes comes in.
Empathy time.
Really trying to see it from their side.
What do they think about this?
What are their needs, their worries, their hopes for this talk?
Even if you disagree, trying to get it helps.
Makes you a better listener, helps you predict their reactions. What about the logistics of the talk?
Time, place, all that.
That matters.
Big time. Use your social skills here.
Find a time and place where everyone can focus.
Private, no interruptions, enough time.
Ideally, agree on the timing together.
It shows respect.
Think about everyone's energy levels, too.
Not right before lunch when everyone's hangry.
And if it's a big conflict, maybe neutral ground.
Not one person's office where they feel more powerful.
Last prep step, Crowder says, rehearse your opening.
Your first words set the tone.
It's about setting a constructive, non-confrontational vibe.
Not barging in with accusations.
So think about exactly how you want to start.
What's the first sentence out of your mouth?
Draft those opening lines. State your good intentions.
Why are you having this talk?
Outline the issue, but neutrally, no blame yet.
Just the facts, the behaviors, no judgments.
Use I statements. It helps.
I feel. I've noticed. Oh, that kind of thing.
And invite them to talk, too.
Sure, you want to hear their side?
Practice saying this out loud. It helps with confidence.
Yeah, you'll sound calmer, less reactive.
Preparation is key.
But it's not an excuse to delay forever.
Groder's right. It shouldn't be procrastination.
It takes effort, but it's worth it.
Okay, we've prepped with EQ. We're face-to-face.
Ebres.
Now what? How do we start well?
Groder says those first moments matter a lot.
They set the whole tone.
So use those social skills carefully.
First, restate your good intentions.
Remind them why you're having this talk.
Connect it to something you both value, a shared goal.
We both want the project to succeed, right?
Then clearly state the issue.
But keep it neutral, factual.
Just the behavior, the events, no character attacks yet.
I've noticed the reports are late, not you're always late.
Statements are great here.
I feel concerned about.
It's about your experience, not accusing them.
And crucially, invite them to speak.
Tell me your thoughts on this.
Show you're genuinely interested in what they have to say.
Crowder gives examples of good and bad openings.
Yeah, those are helpful.
Like instead of saying, you're always late with reports,
Which is accusatory.
you could say, I've noticed the last few reports were past the deadline.
Okay, that's softer.
I wanted to understand what might be going on.
It's more curious, less blaming.
That sets a safer tone. They're more likely to open up.
Makes sense.
Now, once the talk is flowing,
Active listening time.
Crowder calls it the cornerstone of understanding.
More than just being quiet.
It's about truly focusing on what they're saying,
Not just the words, but the feelings behind them.
trying to really get their whole message.
So what does active listening involve?
First, full attention. No distractions, phone away.
Mentally be there, not thinking about your to-do list.
And observe their nonverbals, how they're holding themselves.
Are they tense, relaxed, making eye contact,
Then show you're listening,
nodding, little to show you're following along?
but not too much. It can be distracting.
And most important, the genuine effort to understand.
Not judging, not planning your rebuttal, just trying to get it.
From their perspective,
And then give feedback to make sure you got it right.
not just assuming.
Gritter has 3 techniques for this.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, paraphrasing.
Saying it back in your own words.
Shows you were listening, confirms you understood.
So what you're saying is,
Exactly. Then clarifying questions.
to dig deeper, make sure you're not missing anything.
Open-ended questions to get them talking more.
Can you tell me more about?
And finally, summarizing.
Pulling it all together.
Recap the main points, make sure everyone's on the same page.
So we've established that.
It helps keep the talk focused, shows progress.
And all this, it shows empathy.
That you care about what they're saying. Being heard is powerful. It calms things down.
It builds trust, makes people more willing to open up.
It helps you uncover their real needs, not just their surface statements.
So you can address those needs.
And it shows them how to communicate well.
By modeling good listening yourself.
Okay, we started well. We're actively listening.
But these talks can get emotional, can't they?
Oh, yeah. Things can escalate quickly.
How do we stay calm when that happens?
This is where your self-awareness, self-regulation, and empathy really shine.
Time to put those skills to work.
It's managing your own feelings while also recognizing theirs.
Two sides of the same coin.
Let's start with managing ourselves. What are the tricks?
Groder says, first, stay self-aware in the moment.
Not just in theory, but right then and there.
What am I feeling right now?
Pay attention to your body. It gives you clues.
Tense muscles, fast breathing, that kind of thing.
Notice those triggers as they happen.
Oh, there's that word that always makes me mad.
Then you can use self-regulation techniques.
Okay, like what?
Deep breaths, seriously, it helps.
Calms the nervous system down.
That pause before responding, buy yourself some time.
To think before you speak.
Mental reframing, challenge your initial interpretation.
Maybe they didn't mean it that way.
Calming self-talk, give yourself encouragement.
You can do this. Stay calm.
And if it's too much, it's okay to ask for a break.
I need a minute to gather my thoughts.
No shame in that.
What about acknowledging the other person's feelings?
Just as important, creates a safe space.
How do we do that well?
Listen to their tone, their body language, not just words.
Are they angry, sad, frustrated?
Try to name the emotion you're seeing.
You seem really frustrated about this.
And validate the feeling, not necessarily their behavior or view.
This is key. It's not agreeing with them. It's showing you get it.
You can say, I understand why you might feel frustrated given the situation.
Shows empathy.
Avoid saying things like, you shouldn't feel that way.
Or, don't be so sensitive.
That just shuts them down.
Makes them feel dismissed.
Acknowledging emotions, it lowers their defenses.
Builds trust. Lets you get to the rational discussion.
Plus, it tells you what's important to them.
Valuable info for finding a solution.
Groder also lists common emotional traps to avoid.
The things we do when we're not at our best.
Defensiveness, for one.
Instead, try to listen openly. Acknowledge your part.
Interrupting, it's so tempting.
Be patient. Let them finish.
Stonewalling, shutting down completely.
If you need a break, say so constructively.
Contempt, disrespect, those are killers.
Keep it respectful. Attack the problem, not the person.
And blame, that gets you nowhere.
Use I statements. Focus on shared responsibility.
It's tough managing all this in a tense talk.
It's a skill, takes practice.
But with self-awareness and self-regulation.
It gets easier.
The key is staying present, focused on the dialogue.
Not letting your emotions hijack the conversation.
Okay, we've handled the emotions, now what?
Time to find a solution.
Groder talks about moving from positions to interests.
What's the difference?
Positions are what people say they want.
Their demands, their solutions.
Interests are the deeper needs behind those positions.
The why.
He uses this iceberg analogy. I like it.
Okay, I'm picturing an iceberg.
Position is the tip. You see it above the water.
Easy to spot.
Interests are the massive part hidden below.
Driving the whole thing.
If we just fight over positions, it's hard to agree.
It's both digging in your heels.
But understanding interests, that unlocks solutions.
It's about getting to the root of it.
So how do we uncover those interests?
Ask why. Respectfully, genuinely wanting to know.
Why is this so important to you?
Exactly. Ask about their needs, their concerns.
Really listen empathetically, hear what's driving them.
And share your own interests, too.
Builds trust, shows you